We're excited because we are opening the doors to our Supernatural Love Academy. And somebody, I don't know if this person is here on the Zoom room or in the Facebook group, but somebody found out that our website, our new website went live on Saturday, and somebody got in there and actually saw that the Academy was available. And so they joined. Like, that just made me laugh. And Alan said, get used to it. So if you're already able to go to our website, supernaturallove.com, and click on Academy, and anybody can just go and like join now. So this person did. Thank you very much. You know who you are. And they're already in the Academy. It's that easy. So, so thanks for being patient. And we are going to talk about the one thing you need to know to manifest a relationship through the veil. Okay, it is one thing, and but it's a big thing, and that's why it takes an academy to help you to unpack that big thing and learn how to apply it. Because as you can imagine, what we're doing here is not some small, insignificant thing. To my knowledge, I believe there's nobody else really doing what we're doing. And what are we doing? You might ask. We're teaching you how to break through your limiting beliefs and issues, your self-concept, which is all screwy because, you know, you've been told a lot of lies about who you are, what you can do and what you can't do by society, by your parents, by mostly well-meaning people, but some powers that be that don't want you to know how powerful you really are. Okay, so we need to change all that if we're going to reach through the veil and connect with someone we love, whether that is a partner, a parent, a child, a friend, it doesn't matter. Okay, same thing. In our group, you'll notice that we kind of focus on partners like spouses, but we're opening the door to welcome other people too. It's just that I want to be clear that it's different, not better. There's no better involved in any of this. It's just that a partner relationship is different because most of us, okay, Ellen's saying, chose in this life to connect with one soulmate or twin soul. I'm going to use the term interchangeably. I don't want you to get all messed up thinking, wait a minute, I thought I had a twin soul. Now you're saying a soulmate. Like, it's really, let's just say it's the same thing. Okay. Somebody that when you met them, you knew they were the one. And while you probably loved other people and had relationships, and love is love, so those relationships were still special, were still divine and sacred, there was one relationship that really just touched you to your core, and that Alan's saying is likely the one that you have incarnated with over and over and over, not every lifetime, but most of your lifetimes. Okay, so that relationship is your primary relationship. And no matter how much you love your child or your parent or a sibling or anybody else, they're not your partner. Okay, so, but I'm not trying to dismiss anybody's relationship through the veil. I'm just saying that a partner-spouse relationship is just unique. Okay, unique. So I just want to be clear on that. And so those relationships can continue if we want to continue. The same might not be able to be said about relationships with family members. And the reason I know this is because I was, and I don't mean, I wish I remembered what, it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime, there was a program talking about primarily children connecting through the veil with their parents, or parents connecting with their children through the veil. And this one child who the mother was communicating with at great length for quite a while, ended up telling his mother that she needed to kind of live her life. Not that he was going to leave her, because they don't have to leave, right? I've told you guys, they don't have to go anywhere. There's no place to go. But he was concerned that she was living for him. when he knew that she was here to live for herself and possibly, and I don't think she had a partner. I think maybe the father had passed or they weren't together anymore, but whatever the case may be, he knew that she wasn't to live for him. Okay, now, if they were working together on a project, which could have been possible, like, okay, mom, we and I are going to teach, or we're going to do something specific, that's a different thing, right? But this mother was living for her child, and she wasn't focusing on anything else but communicating with him. What she wanted him as her primary relationship. And he said to her, I have a relationship here on the other side. This is my primary relationship. I love you very much, and I'll come whenever you need me, but you cannot live for me. Even if she was on the other side, she wouldn't be living for him. She'd be living for herself and a partner if she chose to have one, whoever, or her soulmate if she has one. And Elma's saying that she did have one. So I just want to make it clear so you understand. I'm not discouraging anyone from connecting with a, a parent, child, again, sibling, whoever. But the spouse partner relationship is different because every soul, he's telling me this is true, every soul has a soulmate, like someone that they mostly connect with when they incarnate. And that person is the primary relationship. Hope we agree on that. Every soul, unless they choose not to, because you are God, you can choose what you want. Most souls choose to have a primary relationship. Okay, so just want to get that out of the way because we're welcoming people who are joining our group, who are trying to reach to, again, a partner. I'm not just a partner, like a parent or child, aunt, uncle, whoever, a loved one. So just to be clear on that. But this is why we focus on partners and spouses. Plus, Alan's laughing a little bit because he goes, well, because that's my situation. And he says, so it's our group, but we welcome everybody. We're all inclusive, but we are kind of a lot of times going to talk about partners and spouses, but you absolutely connect to anyone through the veil that you choose, including angels and guides. So what is that one thing you need to learn? And more than that you need to master, that you need to really hone this so that it becomes part of your being, like your way of living in the world, right? It really comes down to this one statement, and then other things branch off of it. So it comes down to the truth that you are a creator God, and so is everybody else. So that is a huge one for most people to really fully embrace, let alone embody, okay? Because we're not taught that. Nobody told us when we were growing up, yeah, you're a God and you can have whatever you want. Did your parents ever tell you that? They probably didn't give you whatever you wanted, right? And as a kid, as a child, think of it, you're a child and in your consciousness, like you're 3 years old, and hey, wait a minute, I'm supposed to have whatever I want. Why aren't you giving that to me? Right? Like, wait a minute, I'm God. You're not giving me what I want. And they're right. And also the little kids are thinking, wait, my life is all about me. It's supposed to be all about me. It's not about you, mom and dad. It's supposed to be about me. And of course, I'm joking here, but you know what I mean. I think you understand what I mean. Children know the truth. They haven't forgotten yet. They haven't had it brainwashed out of them by us telling them, no, you can't be selfish. You can't have everything that you want. You have to share. You have to be nice to people. You have to, right? Because that's what they were taught. So they're just doing their best. That's what they were taught, passing that on. We have to unlearn that. We have to kind of change that, but that's in our belief system. That's a pattern of thought. And of course, on top of that, many of us were suffered, maybe were abused or bullied or just had bad experience with other people that got us convinced that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, or we're not lovable, we're not pretty enough, or whatever, we're just not good enough. And that is a lie too, because you're God, you're creator. So you can create your life exactly the way you want to. And you are already doing it, but more unconsciously for the most part, because you don't understand that your thoughts create your reality. The predominant thoughts that you hold create your reality. So if we could pull up, a scale, right? Like a weighted scale with two sides, you put the weights on either side, and could show you, well, these are all the positive thoughts you have about, your, let's say, your money, your abundance, and here are all the negative thoughts you have about your abundance. You'd probably be able to see, like, whoa, I have a lot more negative thoughts, limiting thoughts about my abundance, ability to create money, than I do about the positive, right? So it's what is predominant, what's more weighted, that's going to show up in your reality. Don't worry, that doesn't mean you're doomed to have that experience. It just means you've got to work on increasing the other side of that scale. You've got to hold more positive thoughts and affirm that. And you've got to dismiss any thoughts that are limiting, right? Or negative. Okay, that's basically what you've got to do. Now, how this relates to reaching through the veil is very much the same thing. So if you believe that this is possible, first of all, is possible, or no, Alan's saying, first of all, if you believe it's real, I do believe it's real. Do you still think, I don't know if this is real? This sounds kind of crazy. Is this really real? Like, if you're questioning it, then that's the thought you're holding, which is going to be in opposition to what you're trying to manifest. Does that make sense? Like, you want to connect with your loved one through the veil, but you keep thinking, yeah, but I don't know if this is real. I'm not sure about that, which means you're thinking thoughts of doubt. So every thought of doubt manifests instantly, goes on that scale, like the negative side, like, boop, like, there you go. Your only hope is to think a positive thought that then counteracts it on the positive side of that scale or ledger. Let's say it's a ledger, you're putting that on there so that it zeroes out. But you don't want it to zero out. You want to build that side, don't you? You want it to be sky high, that you trust and believe and you feel good about it and all that. So that just takes a little time. But so what? You've got time. What else do you have? You've got time, and it's not going to take forever anyway. Especially if you stop adding to the negative side of the scale. You stop thinking those thoughts of limiting ideas and negative, fears that you have. Oh, I can't do this. Everybody else can do it, but me. I'm the only one that can't do it. Sorry, I was saying, you're not that special. You're not so special that you and only you alone cannot manifest this, okay? You are equal to everyone. So what one person can do, you can do. And guess what? Even if nobody's done it before, let's pretend nobody's done this before, which is not true, by the way. Let's pretend it wasn't. Nobody has done this before. You could still be the first one, because there's always someone who is the first person to break the 4-minute mile, the first person to set foot on the moon, right? The first person who touched their loved one in spirit because they became physical, who had direct contact. Maybe it didn't last a long time, but they did have it. And who says if it happened once that it couldn't happen again? Because here's the thing I want you to really think about long and hard. Everything in this reality is created by thought. Okay, it started as a thought. When it was thought, it manifested instantly in the spiritual world, because that's really where everything is created first. And then it shows up here. Okay, it creates instantly in the spirit world. That's why our loved ones can think, oh, I want to have an ice cream cone, and boom, they have an ice cream cone. We are not there yet, but we're getting there. Okay, we're not there yet because we have an ego that throws in thoughts of doubt. It says, I can't do that. That's not, nobody else is doing that. I don't see anybody else manifesting ice cream cone out of thin air. So we have collectively agreed to certain things. We've collectively agreed to the idea of gravity, that gravity holds us to the earth, that this is why we don't float off and go into outer space, okay? And yet, some spiritually evolved people can counter that belief, which again is hard to counter because it's a collective belief held by millions of people, right? But still, if you're spiritually evolved, you can counter that with the opposing thought that I can defy gravity. I can levitate. Like I can raise my body off the ground, right? People have done that. But that takes focused attention. That takes this rock solid belief that I can do this, that everything is an illusion. And that's what these gurus or, more highly enlightened people do. I mean, they understand that the laws of the world are actually very flexible and fluid, and that the only real truth, the one law, is that thoughts create. That's it. Thoughts create. Really, end of story. That's the only truth. So the thoughts you continue to think are going to manifest. Everything in your life right now began as a thought, either a thought held by somebody else, like the person who created that sofa behind me, that my friend Swati, she so cracks me up. She comes, watches my Zooms and says, I miss that sofa, because she'd come and sit on my sofa when she visited me recently. And she harbors this longing for my sofa because she was so happy sitting on my sofa. Well, somebody had to think of creating that sofa, didn't they? Or Alice say, or even think of the idea of building a sofa way back whenever in history, the first person who built a sofa, right? Where did that come from? All the ideas that then manifest in physical form were implanted by the other side. Somebody in the spirit world inspired Edison to discover electricity. Alan's laughing because he says, we're not that smart. We're not, but we're good receivers because we're spirit beings, all of us. We're just in a body right now, but we're spirit beings, right? So we can hear spirit. You all have done that. I know it. And Alan's saying, don't lie to us. We know it. You've all had an inspired thought. You go, where'd that come from? That's a really good idea. It didn't come from your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is not intuitive. Your conscious mind is not tuned in to God's mind. Your conscious mind is just a tool, if you will, to get you through this physical world. It's not connected to higher mind. It's not connected to source mind. Your soul, your spirit, the deeper part of you is also guiding you. And if you come and work with us, our job, if you will, is to turn up the volume on that part of you that's guided, and really clear your fears and your ideas of limitation, because that's the only real obstacle in the way of you connecting through the veil. Now saying to me, some of it is ancestral. So some of you in your ancestral lineage, there's just a strong belief that what we're talking about here is either scary or wrong, or we're going to end up with you being burned at the stake or what have you. But that's nothing. That's nothing. All that explains is why there's some resistance, because you're God right now, right here at this time on the planet, when the world is changing, when people are stepping into the truth of who they are, that they're a soul, that they are God creator. And so you can ride on that wave, okay, if you choose to. It's okay if you don't. But if you choose to, this is the time of the awakening, of the ascension. And what could be more perfect than to ride this wave, to connect with who you love on the other side? And also, equally important, for you to evolve as a soul, as an individual, while you're still here in a body. Because they want us to live our best life with them at our side, not live for them. We're not really here to live for somebody else. We're here to live for ourselves with others, with those who are still in a body that are around us. Maybe you have family, children, right? Other friends and our partners who are here in every way. They just no longer have a body, right? So you're the one thing you need to really grasp is that you're God and everything that that means. Okay. And to recognize anyone else is the same. And some people just don't understand it yet. Some people might not understand it in this life. So you just bless them and carry on. You don't look to other people to confirm what you know is truth. I don't want you to analyze this because thinking doesn't lead to truth necessarily. Analysis is, yeah, I want to say just leads to paralysis, like they say, right? It just leads you to go round and around and analyze. This is not a logical thing. What we're talking about, you have to tap into your own divine knowing. You know when something feels right to you. You've always had that ability. You know when something feels true to you, right? And if you don't know, simply affirm, I know what is my truth. I know what is my truth. I know what is my truth, because that's all that matters. In a world that is so obviously distorted, where we have a news channel that purposely lies to its viewers, okay, who would have ever thought that we would live in a time when a news agency, a media would say, yeah, we on purpose lie and lie and lie, and just so that we can make money? That is the times we're living in, people. So you can't trust what's out there. You can't trust what other people are saying. You've got to go within and find your own truth. And guess what? Because you're God, you can do that. If you believe you can do that. Humanity is at a time when we're taking back our power. Okay, that's why people are upset, and they should be, because these institutions that have lied to us and tried to control us are crumbling. But what's going to take its place? Can't be another institution. Okay, you've got to find your own truth and then align with other people that share your truth. And that's all you need to do. And trust what you're guided to do. Our loved ones in the spirit world, they want to help us through these dark times. Let's make no mistake about it. These are dark times. And they're reaching through the veil, not just to love us, although that's always the number one thing, always without exception, to love us, to support us, but also to guide us forward, to give us comfort, to reassure us that it's all going to be okay no matter what happens, because we're eternal. And we are going to connect with them again. We are going to meet with them again. It's inevitable. That cannot be stopped. You are going to reunite, whether you fully connect while you're still here or not. You will connect with them on the other side. Just want to help us get through this and not just survive it. I was saying they want us to be happy, even in the midst of chaos, or even in, perhaps, maybe this is too strong a word, that the word he's giving me is even in the midst of revolution, that you can thrive, that you can feel good, that you can be healthy and whole and complete. Okay, so in the Academy, he wants me to point out, not only do we coach you or support you to create that reality, okay, but we also do healing. Any of you who've read our book, Supernatural Love, you know, you're familiar with the chapter about the healings we did with Junior at the Mayo Clinic, and his friend who's in the group, who's in Academy, by the way, Marianne. She asked us to heal him, and I totally forgot she asked us in a session until she messaged me and said, "Oh, I just got this message from Junior and told me everything that happened that ended up in our book." So I saw that, to my astonishment, because up to that point, I didn't know. I'd only been told this by Alan. I had not any evidence of it. He told me that I was with him when he did healing and that we were helping people and that I wouldn't remember. So she was the first person who showed me what we were doing, what I was doing with Alan on when he would visit people and heal them. Okay, so this is what we do with all of you. Even if you never join our academy, we are here to help you. We're here to serve you. It's just that in the academy, you're going to benefit from the collective group energy. And let's not underestimate the power of a group of like-minded souls. Okay. And then we add our unique, I'd say abilities to the mix, where Alan's on the other side, and it's been confirmed by a couple of mediums who I've heard about who said, yeah, your partner told somebody, your partner's taking a class the same time you're taking that class on the other side. And Alan had told me that's what he was going to do. And again, I didn't believe him. Okay. I don't accept everything he tells me. I'll go, I want the confirmation. You telling me you're helping them on the other side? How do I know that? It's only when somebody else tells me, yeah, I went to a medium and she confirmed that while I'm in the class with you, my husband's in this other class over there. And it's got to be Alan. So I was like, all right, I believe you then. I'm not just taking them at his words. I go, you show me that that's true. So who else is teaching like that? If somebody is, could you please let me know? I'm serious. I want to know because I want to see what they're doing. Okay, I know that there are other people who are having connection with a loved one through the veil, but to my knowledge, it's not like this. It's not like this to the degree where he's appearing to other people, and some people see me with Alan and doing all these things and helping people heal or change or manifest things. Okay, so I'm still astonished, to be honest with you, and I do my best to not let it like throw me, because the ego would so easily just go into like, whoa, ain't I special? And I do not think like that. Okay. I am not like that. Those of you who know me for a long time, and a lot of people have told me that you're so humble. And I said, well, because I know that I'm just who I am, and I don't want my ego to go out of control, because then I won't be able to serve. I'm really here to serve. Really, that's what brings me joy. And that's all that matters to me. So it's not about being, praised or anything like that. So I try to be neutral about praise or criticism and just know that's somebody else's perspective. All I know is my truth. And I would encourage you to focus on that too, to know your value and worth and not measure it by what other people say or what other circumstances they occur, to think like, oh, I missed the mark on that. I made a mistake. So what? Like, so what? You're here in a body and you're supposed to make mistakes. That's why we came here for. It's impossible to make a mistake on the other side, because as soon as you do, you go, oh, change that. Like, change it, undo it, right? You came here. He's now again laughing. He goes, you guys can find it really funny, but yeah, you did come here so that you would be able to make a mistake and then have the joy of tweaking it or changing it or redoing it. You came here to have the challenges you have. It's just that you've forgotten. Some of the challenges have become too huge for you, but we're here to remind you that you can make it easier, that you can change that. Whatever the conditions of your life, you are the one in control of it. So you can wave your magic wand and change your life. You don't need us to do it. We're here to support you. So the way we heal is to help you heal yourself. So we just boost you. So if you remember in the book, Alan mentioned that it was easier to heal Junior because he was in a coma, because he was unconscious. So he was unconscious, and we could go in and basically talk to his subconscious and go, you'll heal, and affirm what was good for him. You understand? So his conscious mind is not going, that's not true. That can't be. That's ridiculous. His subconscious was just letting go and saying, okay. And actually also he was very intuitive, naturally intuitive. So we were able to kind of reprogram him. It would just take longer if he'd been conscious. We would have had to coach him or talk to him. Like, that's what we do in the academy, basically. We're coaching you, talking to you, having you, be aware of your thoughts and all that. But he could have done that himself, but not very easily, Alan says, because he was in a coma. It wasn't the first time that I worked with somebody who was in a coma, by the way. There was a friend of mine, this was years ago before Alan passed, who had cancer. And she was ending up in the hospital several times and near death at least twice. And when she was in a coma, I would connect with her and I would talk to her and basically affirm her healing. And when she would come out of the coma, she could tell me pretty much verbatim what I had said to her, what I had affirmed to her. And even though her thoughts had been rather negative, I mean, she was very fearful and very negative about herself and about her prognosis and all that, she turned it around because, and I think it was actually a blessing that she was in a coma, because I just kept talking to her and saying, you know, you're worthy, you're loved, you're safe, you'll get through this, you'll heal. And so she came out of it and she's fine to this day. This was about, I want to say about, 15 years ago. And she was very seriously ill with cancer. She should have died. She almost died like once or twice. So anything is possible. You don't have to go into a coma to get healed. Okay. You can do this yourself, and you can certainly do it with help. Okay. So, but if you are able to heal just by being in the group and calling on Alan, which means you also call on me because I'm always with him, then we're grateful for that. We're happy for that. We want you to ask for that. If you're having trouble, then either book a session or come join the academy or both or whatever, but don't just sit there or be passive about it and think that there's nothing you can do. Now, that said, he wants me to remind all of us that if it's someone's destiny or their time to leave this world, it won't matter what any healer does. It won't matter what they affirm, because the soul's in charge and the soul knows when it's time to go. So we can affirm and change those things that we do have control over, because it's not our time. We're not meant to have that cancer. We're not meant to die now. Okay, but if it is our time, and it will be at some point for every one of us, then we just go, and it won't matter how much you affirm. Does that make sense? So I don't want anybody to feel, because this question has come up before where people felt that they had failed because they kept affirming their partner would survive their diagnosis, but they were both convinced and both affirmed that and believed that with all their heart, and it didn't happen. In those cases, that was just their time. You can't change it. Now, Alan's joking around. Okay, please forgive me if this upsets anybody, but I can't help it. Alan's just like a jokester. Okay, he's just saying you got to sell by date. He used to joke about that all the time when he was in a body. He'd say, yeah, we all have a sell by date, Okay. That said, you might alter that sell by date a little bit because you do have a little bit of wiggle room. But in the end, you're not going to stay here because this isn't your real home. This isn't your permanent forever home. So you're going to withdraw this piece of your consciousness expressed in this physical body to go home. That's all. That's all. So I don't know why I keep showing me the sell by date. If any of you are in heavy grief and you're wondering, because this question came to my mind, it's like Alan said, I need to address this. If you're grieving heavily and you're wondering, yeah, but would being in your academy, would that be right for me? Is this too early for me? And he's saying, no, no, not early, not too late. It's only the right time. Only do what you feel guided to do. But no, if this would only help somebody who's grieving, because you're going to be putting more positive energy on that side of the scale that says, I believe, and they're here, and this is true. Okay. And so you're going to get support for that. So whether or not you're grieving because you just suffered your loss, or you've been grieving for a while now, or you're not grieving at all, but you're still wanting this and feeling lost a bit, because I work with people who their loved one passed like years ago, and they're still, and Alan's saying even 30 years ago, and they're still in the same place. I'm not saying that's anybody here necessarily, but I'm just saying I know of people. It doesn't matter how recent or how long ago it was that you suffered the loss, right? So, but I would suggest that you just go within and affirm that you'll know if this is right for you, and then trust whatever you feel when you ask that. Like, do you feel that's right? Because we're going to be around for as long as I'm in the body, if not. And Ellen says probably longer than that, because somehow I'll find a way to come back like Alan has. And so we're not going anywhere. He says we're probably working through our son, Taylor. So he'll be sitting here in front of the Zoom camera or something, say, okay, my mom is saying this, my dad is saying this, and going back and forth. So we're just joking. He's just joking. But he says not really, not completely joking. It's kind of true, because nobody dies and we're not leaving until, he says, until every soul who is ready to accept the idea of their immortality has accepted it. We're not leaving, even if we're on the other side. We're not leaving the connection to this work. Okay, so just think about that and feel into that. Like, does that resonate as truth that you're God? Even if it's hard to believe, again, it could be because of your conditioning, your programming. That is the truth. And that's why you don't die, because you're eternal. So that's why you can reach through the veil. That's why you can create your life exactly the way you want it to. Right now, most of you are creating your world on default. Your reality is created by, again, your predominant thoughts. So once we now he's showing me, we kind of wipe the slate clean of your resentments, of your fears, of your doubts, then you lighten up, your consciousness expands. You don't have that chronic complaining or fearful thoughts kind of echoing in your mind. You don't even have to be consciously thinking this. This could be echoing in your subconscious, because of all the things that you've endured, or that are even your family's endured. So we can kind of wipe that clean. And that is, by the way, what happens when somebody has a near-death experience. They sort of get, to a certain degree, some people more than others, they sort of get blank slated, like the Men in Black, right? They hold up that, that device and you just like wipes your memory. You kind of forget all that trauma. And so can you imagine if you were able to forget all the trauma, all the negative programming, and could just let it go? Because the only thing that's real is love. So you would hang on to the statements, the truth that came from love, but you would erase the statements that were not of love, that were of fear, of hatred, of lack, limitation. If you wipe that, then all you'd be left with is your divine essence, the knowing that you're God. Okay. The problem is you got imprinted with other people's beliefs and their assumptions. And then you also experienced some not so nice things at times. You got hurt, you got neglected or taken for granted, or physically, emotionally, mentally, hurt in some way. And so you developed resistance. So when you clear all that resistance, you clear the limiting beliefs, then you're just left with knowing your worth. And so that's why some people, again, not all people who have NDEs have this, but some of them come back dramatically transformed. Okay, that's kind of what happened to me. I just didn't have as much distortions to clear, but I definitely changed. And then my life changed. That's a couple of years, let me see. Yeah, just about 3 years later, I met Alan, because my whole energy changed. So you change your energy, change your frequency, you change your reality, you change your future. We want to help you change your frequency, change your belief system, put you into the new reality where your loved one on the other side is, because that's what it takes. You've got to be the person who can step into that reality. God has already created all possible timelines of reality. Every option exists for you. There is one reality where you don't connect with your loved one on the other side. We just continue to live in the false belief that they're dead and gone. You can imagine what that life might be like if you went down that road, right? There's that one reality. Another reality where you said, oh, I heard that it's possible to connect through the veil. I want to experience that. Let me see what that's about. So you walk down that road, you go explore that timeline of reality, and that leads you to a whole different experience, right? So you can choose which way you want to go. And there's okay, there's even more than just those two. There's many variations of those. But one for sure is about connecting through the veil. The other one is not. Definitely is closed to that idea altogether. Definitely that one road is about living your life as you've always lived it without any change. The other life is you take the path, the road less traveled, and you explore it and see where it takes you. So understandably, that for some of you might be a little, scary initially. I mean, it really shouldn't be, but it can be at first because your ego, who likes to resist and fight, is just not sure. So we coax you, work with your ego. We help you quiet down your ego. Okay. So I don't want to go way long with this because we're going to talk about this more tomorrow if you have questions. I know I didn't open up to questions right now, but I wanted to get this to you to explain where we're coming from. Oh, I just see Jennifer's coming in the chat. As soon as you said one person soulmate, I got whole body chills. Yeah. And those body chills, that's really when we have that, to me, that's the God within us saying, that's right. That's right. Or you could also say it's the other side saying that's right, because they would do the same thing. You're right. That's the truth. That's the truth. So all this is either true for you or it's not. And whatever you decide, that's the reality. And it's okay if you don't want to believe it. It's okay if you do want to believe it, because you're God, you get to choose. That's the whole point. You get to choose how you want to live. You get to choose the life you create. You get to choose to connect through the veil or not. So let me quickly go through what you're going to experience if you join us in the Academy. So to do that, I am going to share my screen. So hang on just a second. So this is a Supernatural Love Academy. All right. So what this is what it involves. Twice weekly live Zoom group coaching with us. We're going to focus on learning about manifestation. We've really been focusing on that more recently in a big way, because I've come to understand that is, that's really the key, is understanding that we manifest our reality. So once you do that, all things become possible, all options open to you. So you're going to learn about manifestation. You're going to really practice it. I'm going to lead you through practicing it on other things than just your relationship, other aspects of your life, because although connecting with them is obviously the most important number one thing to all of us, you're also here to live in this world and have a full life. So we want you to have the tools to create the life that you desire with your partner at your side. So we help you develop your intuition with ease and grace. And we lead you into these deep meditation exercises to help you achieve these higher states of consciousness. It's easier to do this when we're working with you and you're also with other people who are sharing the same journey that you're on. We also do things like these hot seat mini reading sessions where it's like group coaching, except we're doing it as a group. We're working with one person. And I cannot tell you how many times I've had people tell me that they learned so much from somebody else's coaching session, because most likely you can relate to what that person's going through, or you might experience the same thing later. And then you realize, oh yeah, that's what happened to Mary whoever that person was in the who had the hot seat session. So you'll learn from that. It'll help you see what's possible. Okay. We do group sharing sessions. We're going to have one today in about, let's say 40 minutes from now. We're having our Academy group sharing session. That's where people share their experiences, they share what they're going through. And if needed, I'll do a little coaching here and there, but really that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of the group sharing is to hear what other people are going through, because again, you'll learn from them. You'll get encouragement from them. Just like the post that I put up in the group today about don't envy somebody who's manifested something you want. The same thing is true here. Though if somebody shares about how they've had this amazing contact with their loved one, we want to know about it. We want to celebrate that, because guess what? We can ride on the coattails of that. We can pull that into our reality, because what you think about becomes bigger. Okay, it becomes bigger. So you want to hear everybody's wins and successes. That is a sign from the universe that you're on the cusp of manifesting that yourself, even if it's not there yet. So this, I cannot explain how big this is, to listen to other people's stories. Okay, because otherwise it's really easy for you to just be in your own world and think like, oh, this isn't happening, because you only know what's happening to you. You don't know what's happening to other people. So when you understand that we're all in this together, and that by listening to somebody else's story about their journey, that you can tap into that gives you strength, that gives you the confidence and the faith to keep going, that I think that is that price of that is beyond measure, really. That's why I always knew that I was going to teach, that it needed to have a community behind it, that there needed to be a place for people to share, not just like post in a group like in the Facebook group, but to actually interact and share. So we do that in the Academy. And as the Academy grows in numbers, then we'll just break off into smaller groups, like groups of, 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. So people can share with each other, talk about what they're going through. And I will pop into these groups and give my feedback if needed. But I really have come to understand even more than ever the value of group sharing, okay, the group experience. That is, by the way, the energy we're moving into this, what we call fourth density, which is the vibration of unconditional love. It is about group. It is about community. Okay, we're moving out of a time where humanity was kind of meant to be a little more isolated, meant to be more independent, going it solo. But the fourth density is about sharing and community. So you're going to find that if you try to do this yourself, it's likely going to get difficult, because that's not the energy that we're living in right now. And so you're going to feel very much more supported if you align yourself with a group. It doesn't have to be our group, with any group or community that really you feel you resonate with. Okay, that you're going to go much further. We have greater power to manifest together than we do individually. That's just the truth. Right. So we help you manifest, and the community helps you manifest too. The group helps you manifest by holding that vision for you. I cannot overstate the significance of that. If I was to let go of everything else, I would keep the community. Seriously, I would just keep the community and have people talking and sharing, writing, writing their experience, but also talking, sharing, connecting with each other. That is, Alan's saying, that is the critical piece. Okay, so if you try to find it somewhere else in your life, if you can't join the Academy or don't choose to. This is a unique coaching program, mainly because Alan is there on the other side, working with your loved ones, teaching a class. He won't tell me what he's teaching. I just know that he's teaching, and it's been confirmed by mediums and other people like, yes, he's doing something over there on the other side. He even had me read a book by a medium and showed me where she was mentioned that there were souls on the other side who actually did teach the souls there how to project themselves into the physical world. And so he said, see, I told you, that's what I'm doing. Again, I didn't believe him until he made me find the book. shook my head. I literally heard him like yelling, I told you, you don't believe me. So that's what he's doing. So using the power that we have, we can help you, and you can call on Alan for help anytime, like it was described in the book. Okay. You don't have to be in a coma. You just call out, just like Gina in the book, who called out Pam and Alan Johnson, I need your help. And he showed up in the backseat of her car. Okay, well, you might not see him in the backseat of your car, but he will be there in some form. You might not hear him, but he will hear you. So just ask for what you need. We can't promise, that we can correct it, but I can promise we'll do everything in our power to do that. Okay, so he's available for you 24/7. I cannot be available 24/7. So he's always said from the beginning, please don't call out to Pam because she cannot possibly have the time to help everybody, but you can call out to me and I'm always there and she will be helping you too. So that's unlimited. Okay, 24/7 without restriction. Using the power of our intention, collective intention. We do hold the space and affirm your success in reaching through the veil. I didn't fully understand the value of this until my friend Swati pointed out to me. She goes, you do inspire them as to what is possible. And not only that, I said, we're affirming, literally affirming, consciously affirming that you are going to succeed. I'm even happy if others succeed in something before I do. I don't care because we're all in this together. Okay. It doesn't matter who reaches there's no finish line anyway, but even if somebody reaches a goal first, I don't care because we're all riding this wave together and we're all in it together for that reason. And so what happens to one person will inevitably happen for all of us, unless we don't believe. That's the only thing that'll prevent it from happening. But don't worry, you can cancel out that limiting belief and get over it. Because like the last statement says, we are stronger together. Again, that group energy, the community energy that we're talking about, that is what fourth density is, that the group is drawing upon its collective wisdom and intelligence and divine knowing to manifest what's for the highest good of all. That's what fourth density is. Some people call it fifth dimension. I don't want to quibble about what is it called, but that is what it is. It's unconditional love. And it's about everyone coming together. It doesn't mean you lose your identity as a unique person. Not at all. Not at all. It's not about like being a part of a commune. Okay. It's not about that. It's about you working with others of like mind and then manifesting together so everybody rises together. Are you ready to reunite through the veil? That's the question you need to ask. Like, what price would you place on having that? This is what we're offering you, $397 for a full year's worth of coaching with us. And by the way, we recently, some of you know who are in the group now, the people that are in the group now, they were in our intensive, Supernatural Love Intensive. They paid $350. For 6 weeks. That turned into longer than 6 weeks, but they paid $350 for just months of training with us. We're offering you this for a full year. Now, the reason I don't have a monthly option is because I know, and Spirit told me, that people really need to be all in for a year to see results. So if I were to offer you that, I'm actually doing you a disservice because you're given like a way out. You're like, well, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't know. Because you probably at some point are going to wonder, like, can I do this? And they're showing, Spirit World is showing me, I don't know, they're joking today. The angels are showing me, we needed to close the exits. There's no exit door. Like, stay with us for a year. You invested in a year. And this isn't even a lot of money. Come on, let's be honest. Plane tickets cost more than that to somewhere. And that is the price of a workshop. Actually, that's a cheap workshop. If I taught workshops, they've been closer to $500 or $600. And that's a low end. Okay, so and the price of this is going to go up. It just is, because I've already had people tell me that's a ridiculously low price. So it's going to go up. This is the introductory price to everybody that's in in our group now, but the Academy price, yeah, it's going to go up. So if you're really serious about this, then you'll find a way to make that happen. You'll see the value in it. So, it's up to you. If it's not of value, then it's not right for you, clearly. And if you're not sure about it, that's okay. Just keep showing up for our Facebook lives, like this one is now, except we're streaming, and show up for that and do your best with that. And if you're ready, you can join us in the Academy, but the price will be higher. That's all. So exclusive to this week's offer. Well, maybe not exclusive just to this week's offer. We're giving you 30 days to try us out at no risk and get your money back. Alan's saying he's made it so easy. So basically you could just be with us for a month and say, oh, I don't know if this is for me, and get your money back. We're so convinced that you're not going to want to do that. We pretty much are confident of that because of what we experienced with our intensive group that we taught, that pretty much everybody, except for I think a handful of people, really like maybe 3 people, and one of them is actually coming back, said didn't continue. Okay, but out of 33 people or so, like 31 did. So we're pretty sure that once you see what we can do for you, that you're going to want to be all in. And that price of $397, because it's a membership, means that if you want to renew next year, you're going to lock in that price. It'll never go higher, even if the price later goes up to like $497 or $697 or whatever it goes up to. You will have that price forever unless you drop out of the program, which then of course means you got to take the price at the time that you want to come back. That's all. That's pretty typical with memberships and things. So, but I laugh because the shipper literally showing me that they need to close the exits, because I want to be really honest with you. This is not some easy journey. I think it's the most extraordinary journey you're ever going to take. I think that it can lead to you experiencing a depth of love and connection that you have never had, that few people in a body will ever have, because you are connecting with someone who loves you unconditionally, who's on the other side, and who is going to be continually just bombarding you with love and helping you too, because our loved ones, especially a partner on the other side, can be like our guardian angel. Okay, you'll have like 2 guardian angels, the one that was assigned to you, that's always been with you, and your partner through the veil. What is the value of that? You don't have to decide on this right now. The price isn't going to go away right away. It will be there for a while. But if you want to get started right away, then what you want to do is join us. So what I'm going to do is Maria's going to drop the link to the Academy page that's on our website. All the final slide was going to say was our website, which is supernaturallove.com. And all it does is point you to, if you later lose, like with this ends and you go, what did she say? Like, how do I go sign up? Just go to supernaturallove.com and you'll click on Academy and you'll get the whole link. Like, it'll take you to sign up. It'll take you to register. It's really, really simple. And what I didn't get to show you on the final slide, if you are in financial need and you cannot afford $397, then please reach out to us. We have partial scholarships. Okay. Just know that the 30-day guarantee does not apply to partial scholarship, because we're giving you such really a discount on it. And also please think hard about this, because one thing I do know is that unless we're kind of really investing in something and stretching ourselves a little bit, the way people are in general, because I've been teaching for so many years, the way people are is usually if I give something to somebody for free, most times that person doesn't ever do anything with it. And I'm not giving this away for free, by the way, because Spirit World told me I couldn't because of what the value it is in it. But if it's discounted too much, then they told me that I'd be giving somebody a disservice, because then they wouldn't feel like they really wanted to get their investment back, right? They didn't put enough in to make it valuable to them. So that's why I'm really torn, because if it was up to me, I would just give it away to all of you for free. But I know that that would actually be the worst thing I could ever do for you. Believe it or not, if I made this free, most of you are just going to blow it off because you didn't have to invest something of value to yourself, for yourself. That's unfortunately how it is in this world. We know, and your ego is still in there. So I can't get around that. I can't get around your ego that says, yeah, but it's only worth it if, if I had to pay something, a certain amount of money for it. And that's just sadly the truth. That said, that's why I wanted to still offer support to people who can't afford the $397. But if that's you and you want in, then do it now, because the price you come in with the scholarship will be the lowest you're ever going to find. It's not going to be that low again. I won't tell you what the scholarship is, but let's just say I think you'll be happy. I think you'll be happy. So if you need help, yeah, reach out. Reach out to Claire at Supernatural. I mean, at support@supernaturallove.com. If you prefer, you can reach out to me personally. You can reach out to me through Pam at soulauthority.com, because that's my other email, Gmail email actually. But you can get Claire will pass on things to me, but she has a way to, we'll be able to help you sort it out. Okay. So any questions? I know I'm going over and I have class to teach in about 25 minutes, but any questions? Because I did all the talking or comments. We'll have about a few minutes. We're going to be back tomorrow if you guys have still questions. And if you guys if you want to think about it, if you're not sure what you want to do about this, show up tomorrow. We'll talk a bit more, share a bit more. All right. So anybody there? You guys there? I'm going to pull up gallery view. Tell me by raising your hand if you feel this journey is one that's important to you, connecting through the veil. I'm just trying to get you guys to respond. It's down by reactions at the bottom of your screen. I mean, I know it is for all of you, whether you can get to the reaction screen or not. I know it is. So it's okay if you don't want to raise your hand. Oh, Deb just said that's like $7 a week. Is that what it is? Okay, whatever that is. I just know it's the price of a workshop, really the price of a workshop. And, what is that value of for you? So we're also opening on our website. You'll see there's a donate page. And so we're putting out, not just saying, asking you, but anybody who cares to donate to our cause, because we want to make it possible to give scholarships to other people, but we also need to publish more books, and that costs a lot of money, and we still have a lot of debt to pay off for the book that we just wrote. But I have plans for that, so don't go. I'm not worried about it. But I also know that the world is full of people who really do want to support worthy causes, and I don't think there could be a cause more worthy than tearing down the veil that separates heaven and earth. We are doing something that's never been done before. And so we are asking your support in that, whatever way you want to give it, whether you join the Academy, donate a little something on our website, whatever you want to do, or even book a session, okay? Because we're still doing private sessions. Right now, the price is still $250 for an hour. That is going to go up as we get busier. Ellen's saying it'll go way up. So if you're even thinking about having a session with us, try to do that soon. I'm not trying to, market this. This is not a marketing ploy. It's just the reality, because he's already told me that it will have to go up and I won't be able to have as much time to do as many of them either. And I love doing them. So if you're wanting to have a private session, you can go to our website. You'll see their sessions. You can click on there, you can book. it's all there. Our website is finally good to go. But anyway, thank you for joining us today. We will be back tomorrow. Deb says, if we can't do both right now, the Academy is more important. Well, that's up to you, Deb. You can kind of sit with that. But I mean, our one-on-one sessions are not going to completely go away like right away. And I don't know when the price will go up. I just know right now I'm taking bookings into April. So you can see how it goes. It's up to you. Just feel what's best for you. But if it were me, I'd probably go with the Academy because you're going to get answers and help right away, and it'll be ongoing for a whole year. So everybody, thank you so much. If you want to unmute and say goodbye, we do in the Academy all the time for everybody to say goodbye, hi, whatever you want to say, which means you're saying hi to the group. Everybody in the Facebook group, hi.
Thank you.
There. You're so welcome. And those of you that are in the Academy, we're going to meet soon, right? So we meet you on the other side in the other Zoom.
Yes.
All right. See you folks soon. Thank you for joining us. And bye, everybody on Facebook.
Thank you.